Okay.
Greetings and welcome to the real life of adults with cerebral palsy. So we have myself, I am Cindy Evans, and I am a sports scientist from Western Australia. Spent a lot of my years, nearly 3 decades, working and exercising people with cerebral palsy. And my initial training was in I did phys ed for people with disabilities. We looked at if people were a little bit clumsy and we made them a little bit more coordinated, what would happen to their intelligence. And actually, you know what we found out? The less coordinated, the more intelligent. It was really interesting. And you could definitely improve their overall intelligence skills by improving their coordination.
I think that has to do with everyone needs to be.
It does.
Whether you have a disability or not, everyone.
Well, these guys didn't have disabilities, but actually we worked a lot with people with disabilities, mostly, but all the way through my uni, I worked with people with autism, but we had other people with disabilities coming into the gym. It wasn't until I went travelling and went to London that I started working with adults with cerebral palsy. So that was at 28, and I'm 56 now.
Oh,
so
okay.
Here, Aaron. Aaron, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hello. I am Aaron Konowski. I am a adult with cerebral palsy. I have hemiplegia, which affects me on the left side of my body.
Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, maybe not.
And you want to say anything else, Aaron? Or shall I introduce Marie?
You can go ahead and introduce Marie.
Hey, and the final one of our trio is Marie. And Marie, how about
Hi, I'm Marie. I'm spastic quadriplegic with cerebral palsy, and I'm interested in adult cerebral palsy. The three of us run the real life adults with cerebral palsy site on Facebook, and we do have a WordPress called Real Life of Cerebral Palsy Adults.
Excellent. And so how it started, I started following Marie on Facebook in her Marie WAP CP page, which I totally love, which is all about, what can you do to live a great life? And that's we're here today to have a discussion about, in 3 different ways. What can we do to live a good life when you have cerebral palsy? And I've just got to say, I don't think any type of cerebral palsy is significant or a little bit. It's all disabling. So who wants to start today?
I'll maybe take it. Might take it this round.
Excellent. Okay, Aaron, well, I'm looking forward to your talk. So what we're going to do is each of us are going to talk about something we're interested in. I'm going to talk about Vibratrain. And Aaron, what are you going to talk about?
Taking small steps.
Excellent.
So, one of the things people with disabilities like me deals with that is hard to do is taking small steps to achieve our goals. Even as I am talking with you guys today, it's still a hard thing to do. I am coming out now to say, with guidance, you can pull it off as well.
And that's wonderful, Aaron, because I heard we were talking yesterday. You were saying that you took a very small step and made a very good podcast yesterday because Aaron runs a podcast called Aaron's Journey, right?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Why
And
don't
it's
you
a good
explain
podcast.
a little bit of that?
Sure. My podcast covers entertainment and disability.
Because that's what you like, that's what you enjoy doing, right?
Yeah, yeah. In a way, like it's not just about disability because I've had my fair share of having people in the media industry get interviewed by me. So, say people
Yeah.
like say people like let me think. Say people like like a puppeteer like Noel McNeil, singer like Jason Page, so on and so forth.
Now, Aaron, didn't you go to school for radio broadcasting?
Um, well, like in person, no. Online, yes.
Well, that's still going to school because everyone goes to school online nowadays, right, Cindy?
Even the people that are actually enrolled in university, like my daughter, she did most of her university from bed at home online. But actually, yeah, I like going to class. I am a teacher and I love it when my students come to class.
Now, what do you teach at the university?
I'm not at a university, I'm a vocational teacher. So I did all my study at universities. But
Okay.
actually, we're talking about Aaron. So Aaron, I loved your podcast. Do you want to tell people what it was about?
Oh, sure. Let me see if I, let me see. The
So you
latest,
interviewed some people, right?
let me see. I gathered some friends together and we let's see, and we talked about what inspires us.
Yeah, that's why it was so interesting. So tell the guys out there, what were some of the things that you might say?
Okay, so one of the points I gave was who inspires me honestly is I'm not sure, like hold on. Um uh there's a friend that I know of that's a public speaker, um a autism advocate and an author by the name of Lewis, and I believe his last name is Scarantino, I think.
Yeah, his name is very hard to pronounce.
But
Yeah.
when I checked out, but he has a book called "Love Is Too Hard: The Dating Misadventures of a Man with Autism." When I read that book for the first time, it was such a eye opener as someone on the autism spectrum. I'm not kidding.
It's such an interesting disability because they understand everything you're saying to them. They're actually extremely intelligent, but because it's an information processing disorder, sometimes it takes a little while before they get back to you. Or they might not even, because you're not quite as important as, everything they see is important, and they can't deprioritize anything, which is quite a distractive way to live, But once a person gets to be an adult, man, there's not that distraction. They've learned how to process the information, and it's so interesting. I love it. Go on. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry.
But yeah, because of him, I ended up getting to public speaking myself, and on top of that, I'm actually doing a presentation next week,
Awesome.
which is gonna be technology opened my world.
Excellent. So are you doing it online, Aaron, or you what?
No, it's gonna be like kind of locally, and then it's gonna be locally in a way, and then like in a way also recorded.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
What inspires you, Marie?
what inspired me? Oh God. Probably seeing everyone online with CP living their dreams and living their lives. So when I started my blog, cerebral palsy for adults at WOCP, WOCP means workout with cerebral palsy. I started doing it by talking about what I do in the gym, and then they kind of caught on from there, and they realized everything we do as people with CP is a big workout.
That's right, because it's a condition of resistance.
Yes.
And every time you move, you use anywhere between 5 and 100 times more energy than what I would use, because I don't have the resistance. My muscles work in a synergistic fashion.
So every day, no matter if you're in the gym or you're just home,
Your cup, putting your socks on.
it's a workout. I mean,
and depending on where your body weight is or where that action has to be, the workout is increased.
yes.
Yeah.
So the faster you try and do it, the more energy you have to use because your resistance increases.
Yeah, so I think I started it for myself just to open myself up to the CP community because I ran away from my CP for a long time because in my 20s I just wanted to be a normal 20-something-year-old and do.
Oh, excuse me, we should ask a question here. What's normal?
Okay, nothing.
And what would you say is normal? You know, here you guys are living a really normal life. You know, what's normal? What's normal in our society here in Western Australia? Let's go to Africa. In Africa, there's a 60% unemployment rate, and what's normal is malnutrition and living on the floor of a sand in tents.
Okay,
What are you talking about when you live in a normal life? Everybody's got a weird life, I reckon. There's no such thing as normal.
I should have said able-bodied life.
An able-bodied life. That is much better. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I should have said an able-bodied life.
Yeah, there's no such thing as normal, so you got to be using the right words. Thanks. All right. Anyway, hang on. Let's go back to Aaron's because it's Aaron's 10 minutes. What else? What about some of the other guys? Tell me what was your favourite about who inspires on your talk? Which of your mates was your favourite?
Actually, that would be Brian. I believe his last name is Humbermel, I think. But he is he also has cerebral palsy, but it affects him in all 4 limbs, and he's currently 35.
Yeah. So he has spastic quadriplegia. Is it really severe? Is he in an electric wheelchair?
Yes.
Yep.
The majority of the time.
Yep. And can he speak? Yes. So obviously, because you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his speech is like very slurred.
And he can't modulate the tone as well. Yeah.
Like if you're patient, you know, and if you're able to like try to, you know, if you're like your patient and whatever, you know, that stuff like that, then you'll be able to pick up on what he's saying because
he speaks CP knees. That's what I call it, CP knees, because all the muscles in the throat and the mouth are resisting so that the sounds don't form properly. But every individual has still got the same muscles resisting every single time. So there's always a pattern to it. You just have to listen and learn the language, CP knees. Anyway, what inspired you about him?
To be honest, what inspired me about him was like,
Sorry, what was his question? Was who inspired him? Who did inspire him?
What inspired him, from what he'd said, was self-advocates that put in the hard work and dedication, to making their life better, basically.
To making sure that he is the boss in his house. That's what I teach, Marie. I teach people who support people with disabilities and make sure they don't take over their life and that they always communicate with respect. Did I post that Nick Chisholm thing? Yeah, anyway, that was, I thought that was really great, because we need more people like him getting on and talking to make other individuals who are in those electric chairs. And when you're in the electric chair, you're actually, you're dependent on other people for all the physical actions around you. So with support workers who don't learn your language, they just tell you what to do. They'll go, oh, hey, let's all go to McDonald's. It's so great. I love McDonald's. And off you go. And you've just an assumption that you want to go.
Yep.
In the real world, that support worker would have got out like a clear plastic thing with an alphabet on it, or a yes and no, and that person would have made their own decision. That's what I teach.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that person can make their own decision? How do you make sure you don't disable them with your form of communication? Like you have to lift your arm up to say yes. Well, there's a guy with spastic quadriplegia who's never going to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when you use eyes or just a finger movement that that guy's got, and you might get them to do the opposite of their strength. So if his finger always comes up, you tell him tap, push your finger down twice, then you've got a yes and no, and he doesn't have to be disabled. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's teach. I love to teach. How do you communicate with respect?
Yep.
You listen in their way, not your way.
Yeah.
So he's had some really cool people like that around him.
Yeah, and mind you, he wasn't always doing the arc. It took him years to get to where he is now.
Absolutely. That's what I started doing in New Zealand, Aaron. We got people out of institutions where nurses were turning them around 4 times a day, aides were cleaning them and wiping their bum, and nobody talked to the person and nobody let them make their decisions. So then you get conditioned into never having made decisions. And I think you guys will know it, that as you're growing up, actually your mum makes all your decisions. And so you've got to make sure you retrain your parents at a certain time, and that's what you guys have done because you're lovely and independent, So you don't let them keep making the decisions. You start taking over that role. But when you don't have a voice, that's a hard thing. And a lot of people
a lot of them, even those that don't have cerebral palsy, a lot of them, there's like a certain half amount that can't even speak or even speak up for themselves because they're just nonverbal.
People who have no communication. That's what I'm saying. You find a way. You've got to find a different way. All this, you have to speak to me when the guy can't speak. You got to bring your hand up when that makes him use heaps of energy and probably hurts him.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. For years, the one other guy I had on, that I had in it, Mark Reeves, he for years, felt isolated because he couldn't speak, and he ended up being able to finally communicate when he was introduced to typing.
Yeah.
So
it was so exciting, we'd get people out of, because there was no internet just a little while ago. You guys who grew up with it, me, when I started working with people with cerebral palsy, there was no mobile phones.
Mm-hmm.
Typewriters weighed nearly, when my first typewriter, I've still got it. I should show it to you one day, but it weighs a ton. It's got this really, because of the forces involved with the keys, it had to have like a metal plate at the bottom. You got no idea. Just in my lifetime. So a lot of guys grew up without technology because we didn't have it.
Yeah.
So when I was getting guys who were 40 and 50 years old and getting them to go and get a typewriter, or they get these like little voice boxes and they learn how to have a voice at 50 years old. You should have seen it. That's some of my most magic memories in my whole life, watching these guys learn how to use technology to talk, and the shock that often came along with that with those people who lived closely in their lives, because there was always an assumption that even though they were able, there was still something wrong with their brain, you know. And actually, with cerebral palsy, it's only the what's called our cerebellum, the little brain, that got the damage. And that so there's no intellectual damage. There's an information processing disorder sometimes. Sometimes there's but it's never. It's not. The more severe the individual's muscular condition is, the less likely there's an associated intellectual condition.
Yeah. Which I know for some, they may have more than just cerebral palsy. Like for me, I have cerebral palsy and autism, because when I was born, when I was born, I had a level 3 and level 4 brain damage.
Yeah, see, so there. But where's the brain damage? Is the thing it's about, and was it brain damage? You know, because what happens is that you store information differently, but you store it much more effectively. Is it damage, or was it difference that it created? I don't know.
Like,
it's a question, though.
Yeah, like the thing was, I think it was either because of like very little, or like too much blood going through to the brain, and and
it always is about pressure, because you know, for how long was that pressure placed on that nerve when it's growing? If it's too long, the nerve doesn't grow. Sometimes it just grows in an incorrect manner, you know. So
and mind you,
it didn't bother your intellect in any way, Aaron. I think. What do you think?
I mean for a while when I was a child, like for a little while, before I got to a certain age, I was prone to seizures.
Exactly. And that is the same with every single person with autism, because it's an information processing disorder. And what happens is that an able-bodied, I'll say able-bodied because or shall I say non-disabled?
I say able-bodied.
Yeah, I would say that's about right.
I'll say non-disabled.
Yeah.
No, able-bodied. So like an able-bodied person, right? We can look at something like, if I'm talking to somebody, I can actually block out all other sensory information. So I won't hear what somebody else behind me is saying, and I won't get distracted by some sound in the corner, because I'm literally not listening to it. I'm not attending to it. But the individual with autism, they attend to every single thing, every single bit of sensory information in the room with an equal sense of importance, and can never change that. So they store all the information and they learn how to retrieve it. That might take 7 years.
Yeah,
it might take 40 years. You know, it just depends on how disordered is that information processing capacity, because it's the important part. That's what I did in my university, Marie. I studied how do we acquire movement, and it all comes from that very, very basic formation of the baby. As those two chromosomes, mum and dad's, meet together, you're not just getting blue eyes in that, you're also getting a whole lot of inbuilt reflexive movement patterns as well, you know. It's so interesting. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about inspiration.
Yeah. So I mean, because when I've seen Mark Reed's speeches, I mean, when I first realized that like he had a lot to say, I mean, I was like, holy crap! Like,
you think you've got a bad life? You look at the guy who had to fight for every single person that meets them to give him respect.
You seriously think I nowadays are like, I have my moments?
Yeah, flat out, everyone does. And sometimes you're worse than not. Go on.
Uh, I mean, besides him, like, besides him, I guess besides him, I think it would also have to be, his aide Matt, because if it wasn't for Matt, he wouldn't be able to type as efficiently.
Yes.
Because like as of right now, he's having to like rely like on a certain thing that has to be held, for as as he's as he's trying to type, basically.
Yeah, right. And he can't do that with his head.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's where, like I said, got to keep finding the communication style that impacts the least on the cerebral palsy. And Marie, that's why I say never hold things in your hand when you're doing any form of exercise.
Yeah, you know what?
The important thing about your hands and the way you use them is the control you have. The more you control your movement, the more independent you are. But if you train with your hand gripped like this, we'll run out of time. If you train with your hand gripped, actually what you do is you set off a whole lot of reflexes that stick your elbow in one place and stick your shoulder in one place, because people with cerebral palsy like to move still. So that means that they'll try and use their whole body, because it limits the amount of muscle fibers that are going to contract, which limits the amount of spasticity.
Yeah.
I went down in my...
Use your hands. When you put weight here, it's much more effective, because then you can be relaxing through that core, because the force distributes itself evenly. When you hold like that and you put that weight right at the end, all that force comes from here, this shoulder here. It just stops all the muscles in the arm from moving. The more you practice moving like that, the more your body wants to move like that, and the less control you have. So never use hands during exercise.
Really? Then why?
You're trying to relax it. Actually, you're trying to do exactly the opposite. Instead of trying to be tense in your hand, if you keep trying to relax your hand, you keep focusing on your core muscles. You try it next time you go to the gym, right? Instead of holding onto something to be stable or holding onto the thing, get them to put a thing around your wrist, and the whole time you're doing it, you just do like a little dance move like this. And what you're trying to do, just keep your hand relaxed. So it's just extension, because you never extend. It's a foreign movement. It builds up a good blood supply, and you do little extension like that the whole time and try and relax the hand. And you wait, you'll see the difference in your shoulder and the difference in your range immediately.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll try.
Yeah, because I especially noticed that whenever I try to bring the other side out, it usually tends to shake so much that I usually try to keep it down.
Exactly. So you keep trying to keep it still. A lot of people with hemiplegia and that, they're all doing the same stuff, right? Because your muscle fibers are continually going off, and then so at first they use just a little muscle fibers really close to the bone to keep the control. Then they get tired, and so then these bigger muscles come out, and then you're using more force, and then your spasticity increases, and then you get these bigger shakes, and it continues on. But Aaron,
yeah, like to where like
the fitter you are, the less happens.
Yeah, it's where it gets to the point where if I don't have like my other arm to like bring it down a bit, then it
can be right up the top here. Exactly. What do you do? Don't be pulling it down. Try those little finger exercises and do breathing to try and make it relax yourself. Because what happens with this consistent, habitual, this more controlled hand comes across to do this, you get a really huge amount of shortening through these front little tiny muscles here. Now that's going to change the shape of your spinal muscles, and that will eventually create some form of painful disorder. Now, when you just start doing this, what's happening? You've got a bit of fatigue going on, and then your spasticity starts to take control. So how do you change it? A little bit of extension work, and you're focusing only on your hands, and then everything else relaxes. And what you'll find is that actually your hands will drop automatically on their own. Why? Why does that happen? Because when your arms are starting to take off, actually what you're trying to do is stop them. So you try and brace yourself through here, and that blocks out a whole lot of different muscle fibers from moving, right?
Trying to avoid it from shaking uncontrollably, because then once that happens, then it's hard to control your body.
What you're doing is you're actually making it worse by adopting a pattern like that. You're not giving it control. You're forcing that more stable side to control the other side. So there's no control there. Try it, Aaron. You know, especially when you're in your bedroom all on your own and you're really agitated, just try it. 2 steps. First, you've got to relax through your hands, which will force you to relax through your neck. And relaxed hands. You're doing like an Indian diva sort of look, and it's always the only thing you're thinking about is extension. You're never ever contracting. It's an eccentric conditioning thing, right? What happens, you engage a whole lot more muscle fibers, and 6 times out of 10 that's going to be enough to let your arms drop back to where you want them. Now you have to give it time. Just like that guy, he has to take a lot of time to get the muscle fibers in his neck to coordinate to get the word that you're going to understand, right?
Yeah.
Same with your muscle fibers. It doesn't matter what type of cerebral palsy you have. This spastic reaction is going to happen if speed increases or force increases. And when you get tension and brace, then you're forcing these little muscles to take the whole weight of this arm, and that's 15 to 20 kilos. A lot of weight. You just don't know it because you're so conditioned. Anyway, extension through the hands will help you relax through the shoulders, and now you can engage a whole lot more muscles. And you have to do the breathing as well, so that you breathe in really and then let the arm drop, okay?
Yeah.
By making your arm do it yourself, you're going to strengthen the muscles in your back. You're also going to strengthen the muscles all right next to the bone, those core, they're called the core muscles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The more you resist it and you watch, the more your arms go up, you feel your hand. It'll be tense. You'll be holding it like this. Let it go and see if your elbows drop.
Yeah.
Just try it. Try it in the privacy of your own home where no one can see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those habitual movement, if you have a look at everyone you know with cerebral palsy, and their spine will have changed shape, and a lot of it will be because they're trying to stabilize something. They're chucking their arm in between their legs, or they're crossing their legs over, or they're shoving their hand underneath something, and their shoulder drops because of that, and one shoulder lifts because of that, and you see the twisting happening. Now these are all things that I use cushioning and balance for, but gravity, getting people to get an electric chair. Make sure you got that chair, even if the only thing you're using it for is letting yourself teach your muscle fibers to relax independent of anyone touching it or you touching yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what are we going to do now? Because Zoom's going to finish now.
Okay, you know what, then I'll just answer the question
we'll do the next one on can we do Vibratrain the next one and Independence the one after that?
Yes.
Because I think if we do the same, that was really cool, Aaron. Did you enjoy that? Did you guys enjoy that?
I think we listened to it. I think it's very hard to hear.
Right. Okay. We're going to have to fix that. I haven't got my microphone on.
You know what? Maybe you could do a blog on that one, and then we could.
Yeah, like it was like hard to not hear just you, Cindy, but also the guest.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Right.
so like what I'm considering is either the you just either do the either just put out that blog post or
Yeah.
like eventually just I'll just help in redoing it. Like to where I'll just be like in the background recording, so
Okay. We don't need to redo it. How come I can hear it so well and you guys can't?
Because you're right there, you know.
I can hear you and I can hear Aaron really well. But it's only my side that's letting it down, or is it can't you hear anyone?
well in the whole thing it's kind of hard to even like it's where it's usually hard to hear you and the guests because of how the level it like how the levels are, like it's very, very quiet.
Oh, in that podcast, because he kept moving away from the computer.
Like I mean, like even like the headphones I normally use, it was really hard to hear you and the guest.
Read the document? Did you read the document? Because what I did was type up what he was saying all the time.
But where's the document? I don't.
It's in Messenger. Just scroll up from Aaron's Zoom invitation, and in our shared Messenger.
Okay, so what I would like.
What I did, because just in case that happened, right? I as he was talking, I typed.
Okay, so what I would like you to do is take up.
Yeah, but I'm just fixing it because Karen said I did put it up. I put it up onto our
Put down WordPress.
Yeah, and then that's what I haven't got into the WordPress. I'll do that now. So I put it up on Media Centre, and then Karen said I'd actually made a bit of a mistake on a few things, and so I've just got to change that before I put it up onto WordPress. So I said, you know, I was typing and trying to understand what he was saying, and it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant about this Zoom one, Aaron. What would?
No, not that one. The one that you recorded.
Yeah. I knew that. Karen's trying to change the sound because she knows how to use Audacity. So.
Okay.
Yeah. But actually, I was asked if she could just send me her copy because they taped it as well. Maybe her copy would be better because I was using my microphone.
Yeah.
We hear you fine. It's him we couldn't hear.
Yeah, so I want you to go and have a read of that document before we talk about it because it's so interesting, Aaron. You know, I really totally enjoyed listening to this guy because the difference between his vibration machine and other vibration machines, and I've looked at a lot of them and they've always been quite damaging. The difference is his is so big and it puts a 1,200 kilogram force into the vibration, which is significant enough to engage the postural muscles. Now, a little tiny vibration, that's not going to do that. It's not significant enough. It's not going to put enough stress on your body for your postural muscles to want to be working out. Yeah. So,
okay.
If you stood on a little light vibration machine, then actually your cerebral palsy is going to resist that. And so what you're going to be having is you're going to have a real fight with it, but in muscle fiber limits and all in your external muscles. So what we want is to train your middle muscles, the postural muscles. The stronger your postural muscles are, the straighter you stand and the more you use your skeletal muscles properly. But when you only train your outside muscles, your skeletal muscles, actually your body deforms because, I don't know why, it's because it doesn't make you stand up straight, your postural muscles. They generally just try and keep a joint still.
Yeah, and over time, there's an issue I've been noticing actually, which is which is like, usually sometimes either like certain times, like if I try to go, say like go down a curb or something, this
Yep.
knee tries to lock up, and then
Exactly, because it knows there's going to be a great big, it's going to have this extreme weight. Because what happens when you step down on something, your force actually increases. So say you weigh 50 kilos and you're walking along the pavement, you've got a force of 50 kilos coming back up every single step you take, right? So now when you go down a step, actually that force increases to like 100 kilos. So it's double your body weight that you're going to have coming back up through your foot. So the act of walking down the step, because you've got movement and gravity as well on that, it compounds the force and brings a bigger force back up. Now, your knee muscles only work through a very limited range when you're walking. You don't, you walk always on a hard surface, so you don't stretch that calf muscle out and you don't move the knee through its whole range, and you wouldn't do much squatting, would you? Would you squat?
Nope.
Nope. See,
I
you've got half of the range of those muscles. Exactly. That's what I thought. So now you've got half the range of those muscles that you can't put your body weight in that range. They're too weak. Your knee would collapse, right? So that's what's happening at the moment. So your force, the force that's going down when you're walking down that step, it's too large for the muscles that are supporting your knee.
Yeah.
You need to. You would love this vibration machine, mate, because what it's about, standing still and focusing on relaxing those outside muscles, so the postural muscles can be the thing that's taking all the way to your body.
It's not just that. It's not just that, actually. Another part of it is that I have also noticed that that whenever okay, for certain steps, I've noticed that when I go down like a certain when I go down steps with a certain drop, then then this knee starts popping. Why is that?
Yeah, that's what I'm just talking about, because that drop's bigger than normal, right? And the larger the longer the time it takes for your foot to go down to the step, the more weight you're actually putting on it. So if it's a little step, you're actually going to lean back a little bit, and you're going to take a bit of the weight of your body with the back leg and a bit of the weight as you're coming down. But if it's a really big step that you have to come down, actually you're going to move forward and you're going to put all your weight forward. So you're getting a lot bigger force coming back up through that foot, and your muscles aren't actually strong enough to take it. Now, how you change that is by doing work on your knee through action, like semi squats. Go in and do some leg extensions and like that sort of stuff to train the muscles on the outside, because it's not so much your big front muscles, it's more about these side muscles, because you're not using range and they're not very strong. They've only got a little bit of them are strong, a little bit in the middle, and that's all. So the more you can try and take your weight as your knees are bending, the better. The best way to do that, I would have you sitting on a swing and doing or getting on a treadmill and have you in a hoisty sort of thing, so you can walk, but only bits of your body weight would be on your knees, and then you train that knee to take a lighter than your body weight through its range, and then you lower yourself, and then you put a little bit more of your body weight on your legs, and then you train the knee through the same angle, and by doing it that way, that's what we're trying to do, is train those postural muscles. So the only way I've been able to do that is getting people on the mats. That's what I did for 15 years for the Cerebral Palsy Society in New Zealand. 3 times a day, I'd run exercise classes where we get people out of their wheelchairs, down onto the ground and actually moving around to try and improve strength. And this is what that Vibratrain's about. How do you train the postural muscles when walking is only going to damage? We don't want you doing stair climbing with your whole weight yet. That's what the vibration machine does. It has a force big enough to actually train the postural muscles, engage the postural muscles. It's pretty unique. I've never seen it before.
since
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially because I've known it because I've noticed the issue. I've noticed the issues actually as I've been getting bigger, and
It's that right. So you've got more weight, so the force that's coming down onto the ground has increased, but you only use your knees through a very limited part of its range when you walk. And you need to do that to keep stable. Also, your cerebral palsy is going to make you do that, you know.
yeah,
So that's why when you're coming down a step, first of all, you're going to move, your knee knows, oh my God, he's going to move me into a range that I won't be able to take the weight. It's like a reflexive survival mechanism to keep that, to stop you from falling over.
yeah,
So you need to strengthen your knee, and the best way is to go to a gym and do seated exercises for all the muscles that surround you, surround your knee.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like yeah, like I've looked into it honestly because I mean, because I ended up going to a gym today, which I didn't end up doing, which I ended up doing like a huge amount, so which will be good,
Don't,
but in
but
terms
yeah,
of
that's
the
cool.
momentum, that's gonna be a problem.
Excellent.
I think you should do a YouTube exercise video.
Yeah.
Were
We
you
should
talking?
do
Were you talking to me or Marie?
Cindy, I think Cindy should do an exercise video and put it up on YouTube.
Oh,
and then you do it. All right. And we put it up into that media center.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I'll show you what I'm talking about, though, when I was talking about the hand exercises, you mean.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, cause like, yeah, cause like, yeah, cause like, cause from what I understand too, cause like, Cindy, does it also depend on, like, does it not just depend on like how tall you are, but also like your weight as well, like the
Yeah,
weight
absolutely.
of your
And
body?
remember, there's a lot of things that did make your weight differ too. So muscle fibers, they're about 3 times heavier than body fat, you know. And where you're holding your arm is going to dictate which muscle is going to have a spastic reaction. So if your arm is here, now where does the actual weight of that arm have to be held? By a little muscle right here. So this is only a little muscle. So it's going to try and make you move the weight of that arm. And what it wants actually is for you to go backwards, and because we've got great big muscles at the back. But usually we don't. We go forwards, and then again, that you get all these muscles fibers going, no, not here, not here. Yeah. So it depends. Yes, the more weight you have, the more force you're going to generate. So the bigger the spastic reaction you're going to have at your joints. The taller you are, the more muscle mass you're going to have, and the more force, so more weight you're going to have. So being tall, actually it makes you have to have a lot more muscle fibers, and and remember, muscle weighs 3 times more than your fat does. So the taller you are, the more weight you're going to have, just because you've got more muscle mass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cause like when I was younger, it was not a problem, but I was a bit, but even as I'm getting to my 20s, it's just like, are you kidding? Like, I never expected it to decline so quick.
And Aaron, this is why that guy from Vibratrain made those machines. He's a mortician, right? So he's a mortician, and he's been working in a mortuary since he was 9 years old. Now, he didn't make these machines for people with cerebral palsy. He made them for people who are bariatric, and that means that they're really totally obese.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he saw patterns in the way that their body health had declined. So when you see 3 or 4 really big people coming into your mortuary every single day for 25 years, you see certain patterns in muscle growth, in body fat position, in the way that the arteries decompose. And he saw a lot of very similar patterns, and all of them related to not having enough blood supply in your postural muscles. So this vibration machine, where he goes and has a look at the other vibration machines, because, you know, the best thing for people that can't move is to actually do an exercises where we don't ask you to. So you're not being asked to run, which is something that's going to set off every spastic fibre in your entire body. And we're not asking you to take weights, which also sets off spastic fibres throughout your entire body. Instead, with the vibration, we ask you to relax. You're training the eccentric muscles, and it gets you to get into positions that will help train the strength of the knee in where it's weak, right? But he has a swing under your bum. So you're not actually having to take all of your weight there. So what happens if enough force comes back, you increase the amount of blood vessels at the bone to muscle level.
Oh, okay. Like
at the bone to muscle level, the healthier your skeleton is, the straighter. So the more muscle, the more blood you got, the more muscle fibers that can go off. So it's great for training. And what happens when you sit? You know, sitting's not a natural occupation, and when you have to sit all the time, actually, you're gonna make muscles on your back so tight that there's no blood supply at the bone to muscle level. And so that creates a little bit of a muscular weakness. And this is again why I like to use gravity. You know, let your back relax. Remember I showed you that position on my rocking chair, Marie? If you can make the full weight of your body be taken by your back instead of this little tiny 2 points on your bum, what happens to the front is that you can relax and move it through a whole different range, and at your back you get all of this blood supply coming in, and at the front you get here where you normally keep it really tight. Again, you get a good blood supply coming in.
Yeah, because
you sit in the same position every single day, and both of you would do the same thing. You know, you come in, doesn't matter what chair it is, you're going to find if you took a picture of yourself straight up, you'll be able to see that your body's trying to sit in exactly the same way, and it's not level or anything, because it's not a natural position. It's not a position a human body's supposed to be in. So you have to adapt. So you're both going to sit in a different position, and you're both going to strengthen different muscles, and you're both going to make different muscles weak. But what you're both going to do also is you're going to stop the blood from reaching all of the bones right next to your spine, which we need. We need that blood there. Keeps your postural muscles strong, supplies your skeleton.
Yeah.
So variety is the spice of life. When you've got a cerebral palsy, you want to be making sure you're sitting in different positions all the time, and you don't adopt habitual movements like that grasping of the hand to control it. Sometimes it's about embracing cerebral palsy. You know, whenever you raise your hands, you know, you are getting passionate about something. It's important to you. That should be a message to everybody that speaks to you, that whatever you're talking about, that's really important to you. Whether it's a negative or a positive important, that we don't know yet, but you know.
Yeah, because I usually a lot of the time I'm usually a lot of the time like afraid to have like my other arm out, because
you might hit someone.
The thing they're going to be seeing is like, because the thing they're going to be seeing is the shaking, and then it's going to seem like that. Then it's going to seem like that my nerves are hitting me, and my nerves are going up. And
you can practice this technique and learn how to relax. And it's about embracing your cerebral palsy. You've got to let it go and then spend a bit of time releasing it. The more upset you are, the longer it's going to take to release it. But you know, what's the point in hiding it if it's going to damage your body in the long term? Who cares what that stranger thinks? Actually, what you're doing is you're opening a conversation like, oh, how come your limbs shake? Oh, hey, I've got this type of cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
It's an educational opportunity. I know you get sick of being the educator, and I've had many people say that to me, but you know what? Maybe that's your plot in life, that you've got to educate people.
I think that is my lot in life.
I think so. I think so. You know, I think we all should be sharing our knowledge, and by hiding ourselves, we're not sharing our knowledge. You know, and by stopping yourself from letting that body react, actually, what you're doing is you don't know where is it that you could actually relax. Could you use that movement to continually reposition your neck? And I would, because if you can move your palms out this way, your shoulder blades have moved up closer to your neck and you've realigned your head.
Yeah,
You know,
because
so maybe that action is actually what's being asked of you is reposition myself. My body needs to be repositioned, and you're ignoring it.
yeah, and the thing is, I usually tend to go for a lot of repositioning, but then why does it usually continue?
Because you are not taking your body weight off your bum. So you like move your bottom around, and then your body's going to go back into exactly the same place. Now, if you had an electric chair, right, and you had a tilt-in space electric chair, and you go, now you can reposition yourself, because instead of all of the weight of your upper body, your head and your arms and your trunk being taken by your little bones in your pelvis, you could move that electric chair all the way back, so that actually all the weight of your arms and your head, they're taken by the chair.
Yeah.
Now you can reposition. Now you can put your feet on the bottom of that chair and move your bum around and bring it right back. But every time you go back into sitting, your body's going to go straight back into the place it likes to sit. You can pretend that you're controlling it, but all of our habitual stuff is a semi-automated process. Straight to the spinal cord, straight back to these big skeletal muscles, and it says, contract here and keep everything else still.
Yeah, because like it's at that level to where it's, certain times it just gets to the point where certain times I've had my occasions where when my muscles get out of control, then it's hard to relax, relax the body then when it's in that when it's state.
You're also trying to relax your body by trying to make your joints still. That's not relaxing your body, actually. Just try that technique I showed you. Just do extension and don't do anything else. No shutting of the hand at all. And all you're doing like extension and you're trying to relax. You extend the fingers up and relax through your neck. Extend the fingers up and you do both arms. And it doesn't matter if your other fingers, see how one hand is moving but the other hand is totally still. You've got to do both hands at the same time. Better. So what that does, it engages every single thing. Don't ever let yourself try and contract with, no bending, just only stretch it out and straighten it and then relax. Stretch it out. So don't try and do this, Marie, none of this stuff. Don't be trying to put your fingers anywhere. All your fingers should be doing is trying to be straight. So when I do that, see, I'm not actually bending back at all. You guys just want to do that because that's how you've learned to move. That's your conditioning. So all I'm doing is straightening, and I'm not doing any bending. So if you see yourself doing any of this, you're contracting and you're using contraction. That's only the action, the power action. So you see, you're contracting, Aaron, you're using these muscles here. Every time a limb, if it's bending, you're doing a contraction. What we're trying to do.
So even just to lift,
It's
I'll
only
one finger
and then relax. You're never trying to actually control anything. Lose that control. It's only about extension. Now, what you should find very soon is that you get a burning here. If you're doing it properly, your muscles are going to burn here. Now, if you're not burning there, you're actually using this action. You're just being very clever about where you're putting your wrist. So I worked a lot. I was a Paralympic wheelchair rugby classifier for just over 12 years, and they get the muscles that lead to the hand all get paralysed, and these extensors are the first ones they lose. Now, because of that, they all get this sort of curly bit, and they learn how to use their wrist to do everything. So what you guys have learned is how to use your wrist and your flexor muscles to do everything. So what we want to do is just learn how. So one way, if you can bring your thumb so that your thumb is as far back as you can make it, and then you do that stretch. Excellent. So stretch, so don't just try and relax. Excellent. So when it's so Aaron, see how you're trying to make your fingers touch your hand? No, you're trying to get your fingernails to touch your cheek. Fingernails to touch your cheek. So that means you see, stretch it, that's it. That's it, fingernails to touch your cheek, that's it. And now what we're doing, now let your arms come out, do the same action. Let your arms come out and do the same action. So you're starting to let all your spastic stuff going off. Now, thumb back, stretch it out, and then as you're doing that, head back, and hopefully your arms will don't. So you're not trying to keep your hands here in front of your face. You just let them go wherever they want to. And the only action you think of, if you're going to move anything at all, you're not trying to stop your shoulders, and you're not trying to stop your elbows, and you're not trying to stop your wrist. The only thing you're doing is stretching your fingers up. I'm going to stretch my fingers up, and then hopefully your arms will relax. So you're just going to try and let them. If you're only thinking about your fingers, your arms are going to drop back into your lap.
Yeah.
Now, and Marie, it's getting pretty late, and I'm going into work late today, but usually on a Thursday I start work at 7:30. So that's why I can't talk in the morning, Aaron. I get up at 5:30. I take the dog for a walk. I have my shower, and between my walk and the shower, I always answer some Facebook things, but I don't have time to.
Oh wow, mate.
And then I get in my car and I drive to work. Now you can always call me on the phone, but I can't video chat because I'm always typing and I'm doing work.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the mornings are no good for me, and that's your night. So, but they're no good for me unless it's on a Sunday. That's my. I usually don't get up till about now.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, and for what you were saying, I can start to tell a difference.
Mm-hmm. So at night time, I finish my work, right? If you get up really early in the morning and you're hanging out, then you can ring me, because I finish work always at about 4:30.
Yeah, I usually call her
I'm home at 6. So I might stop and see my friend, but I'm always going to be home by 6 o'clock. So, that's probably better.
Yeah.
But not video, because when you call my video, it uses all my data.
Oh, God.
You don't have unlimited data. Like my whole house ran out of internet. We were out of internet for 12 days. It was awful. So I don't want to use video all the time. It's unnecessary. We don't need to be watching each other. And if you use a telephone, it doesn't cost me anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to do the video when we do the recordings, but I don't want to do video calls. They cost me too much.
Oh, yeah.
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 I will get an unlimited plan, but not yet, because I've just got so much debt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, and from what you're
I pay $45 a month for my internet. It's the cheapest plan I've ever.
Maybe we could do this like twice a month instead of every week.
No, I don't mind doing the video once a week. It's just the in-between calls I don't want to do on video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't mind doing Zoom. I love it. Totally love it. Otherwise you would never know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I love how you put up that document like that.
Yeah.
I want to know how to do that so I can do that.
Yeah. 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 As I said, I'll have to eventually have to show you when I can one-on-one.
No, but if you can find somewhere that says it and send it to me, that would be great.
Yeah.
I just need a picture of where's the button that I need to push to bring my computer screen up.
Well,
You could do that on Facebook too when we're talking.
yes, but as of right now, it only works for like one-on-one right now.
Oh, okay. So, because you know what we should do next time, Aaron, is if we're going to do this, we should make sure we show people how to get to our website.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so
So if you can do that, you know, we can bring that up, and we can put a few, and then I'll do that little video. Maybe we can put that little video up or something.
Yeah.
it sounds good.
Yeah. So,
And I want you, when you guys are ready, when you guys have extra time, before we put any interviews on the blog or anything, I want us three to write each individual blog to introduce yourself.
Yep. Okay, that's a good idea. And you know what? How many people are allowed to post under our name? Because there was someone posting the other day that definitely was not you.
Oh, where was Jack? I gotta tell Jack because I gave Jack permission to use
So
it.
it comes up under our name every time he writes something. Actually, it comes up as if it's one of us.
Yes, because he's on the blog. He's on Facebook with us too. Like,
Oh, right. I think that's going to be a bit. If we've got everybody posting under our name like that, I think that gets confusing.
okay, I'll take him out.
yeah.
Because you know, also he's not posting about the stuff. He's not when he's responding. You know, there's some issues with that. Have you read what he says?
Yes, and I yelled at him.
I didn't.
Yelled at him for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You know, what we want is to make sure if people are going to post on the page, they're going to feel safe about the ways people are going to respond to it.
Okay, I yelled at him about that.
Now I haven't been into the thing. It's my daughter's birthday. It's been really busy. It's been a really full on month. You know, graduation and a birthday, and my dad's been sick, and then I've got all this, and then we just started classes. You know, so
Yeah, don't worry.
I spent a lot of my time learning everybody's name at the beginning of term. So I'm sorry I have not got onto WordPress yet. But can you just resend it? So because I've nearly finished this blog about, you know, the way I've rewritten the thing for Karen about Lloyd, and I want to put that up on our page.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah.
can send it to me, then I can put it into the WordPress. And my daughter's going to spend some time with me so I learn how to use it.
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got to go to work because it's 8:15, and usually I'm already there for an hour.
Okay.
Okay.
So definitely, I don't know. Do you want to go to 2 weekly? Would that take the stress off? Because one thing, Aaron, you talked about a lot was about, you know, you don't have much time. Do you want to do 2 weekly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bi-weekly? Yeah, sure.
All right. So I didn't get to do Vibratrain, and we didn't get to talk about independence. So it's our turn next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So we're not doing it next week, but the week after?
What do you think?
See you guys.
I think we should do Vibratrain next week because we said we were going to do it this week.
Okay, we'll do it next week.
And then we go bi-weekly after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then we'll get we'll do the independence at the end of it as well. Because I don't know how much of this we're going to get because they only going to let us have 40 minutes of it. I don't know what happens after that. You might have to pay for every minute or something stupid like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't want anyone to pay for it. Just take the 40 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, eventually when I eventually end up having the money, I will do it.
Oh, that's the same with all of us, mate. But don't you worry, we'll be there soon. Somehow, this little niche market, we will make money out of it.
Yeah.
Put it out there and, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to go. I've got stuff
Okay.
to do. So, yeah, let's talk about Vibratrain next week. Now, what day are we doing it on? Because I can do Monday mornings, but I can't do Thursday mornings.
Okay, so we'll do Sunday night, Thursday morning.
And I can do after work if you want.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
better?
like,
Do you like it now? Is it
like it
now good? Because I'm now.
the thing is, it would have to be after because, because I said
Yeah, so that's it. So your afternoon, my morning is the best for me. Is that the best for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So next week, I don't go into work on a Monday, so it doesn't matter what time you want to call in. As long as it's a Monday, I work from home.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that means you can do it anytime you want to. Like you guys will decide what time. I will just be up and ready for you whenever you want to do it.
Yeah.
And that would be Sunday night our time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Sunday night. It doesn't matter what time. I don't care. You know when it's good for you. We don't want to make it too late because you get too tired if it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just say, I don't have to go into work. I've got no pressure, and I'm not going to try and do what I'm doing now. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do it this Sunday. I want to talk about Vibratrain. You go and look at my first draft, and then I'll send you my second draft, just so you get a look at it. It's interesting, and I think I want to do some study on it. I think it's so interesting. Anyway, I'll talk to you about it on Sunday night.
Yep.
Have a good week.
Okay, thank you. You did a great job, Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna have to go because I'm really sick right now.
Yep.
Okay, I love you.